Welcome to the Simplify Your Life podcast. It's Coach Simona, and I'm glad you decided to tune in.
Hey everyone! In today's podcast episode, we're going to talk about the one habit that changed my life. And I'm going to share with you the secret method that helps me enjoy life to the fullest. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Simona, certified life coach and author of the book 111 Ways to Simplify Your Life. I make weekly podcast episodes on personal development, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. Alright, today's podcast episode is going to be a little bit different. I've been meaning to talk about this topic for a very long time, but I never really got around to it. So here we go. After I reveal my favorite daily habit, which I'm going to do in a few seconds, I'm going to spend the rest of the episode talking about all the ways you can implement it into your life and a few quick tips on how to make it stick in the long run. So here we go. One habit that changed my life is reframing my mindset. The interesting thing is that trying to reframe my thoughts and beliefs once or twice sounded great in theory, but it took a lot of repetition to make it stick and turn reframing into a daily habit. If you're not familiar with the term reframing, it is all about looking at a situation, thought, or feeling from another angle. You're changing your perception of something and looking at it from a more positive, constructive perspective. Here's how I got started with reframing and how you can too. Step number 1 is to track your most repetitive negative thoughts. We all have negative thoughts. That is part of being human. However, there are certain ways that can help you manage your negative thoughts better and not let them control your life. One of those ways is to track some of them on a piece of paper, especially the ones that are disturbing or repetitive, and then follow the link between your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. I've made a free cheat sheet using one of the best tools from cognitive behavioral therapy called ATR, which stands for Automatic Thought Record. If you want to download it for free, you can simply click the link in the description box below or head over to bit.ly/thoughtrecordtool. Now, let's go back to tracking your most repetitive negative thoughts. By using this cheat sheet, you will become more self-aware and learn what's standing in the way of living a happier and more fulfilling life. The second step of reframing is to think of a more constructive way to look at the thought, belief, or situation. Here's what I mean. Let's say you often say to yourself, "I'm a failure." You can reframe it by writing down something like, "Every mistake that I make helps me grow and evolve as a person." Or let's say you're often thinking to yourself, "I can't do this." In that case, you can write something along the lines of, "I am strong and capable. I have overcome many challenges in the past, and I can do it again." The purpose of looking at your thoughts, beliefs, and certain challenging situations from a positive perspective is to change the way you perceive it, bring a more constructive perspective, and in time, reframe it completely. That actually brings me to the third step of reframing, which is catching yourself before reacting. When you have a negative thought, that leads to a chain of events. First comes the negative emotion. Then you might say or do something to ease the pain or get rid of anxiety. And then the cycle repeats itself. So how can you break it? By learning to observe yourself from a distance. Next time you have a negative thought, you can say in your mind, "Stop," and think of a better way to perceive the situation. You don't need to try to erase the thought or reframe every single one. Otherwise, you will drive yourself crazy. But if it's a repetitive story or a belief that you want to get rid of, sometimes saying something shocking such as "stop" or "no" can bring you back to the present moment and remind you that you get to choose your reaction to any situation in your life, no matter how challenging it may be. The key to turning reframing into a habit is to treat it as a tool in your arsenal every time you see that you're spiraling into negative thoughts and you need to make a reality check. And one more important thing to keep in mind is that reframing is actually an act of self-love. When you feed yourself with more positive thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, you're nourishing your mind and your body. You're choosing to see life from a more constructive angle instead of blaming, complaining, or comparing yourself. I go way more in depth into all the helpful tools you can use to reframe your mind, become a better friend to yourself, and learn how to love yourself unconditionally in the Self-Love Toolkit, which a lot of you already use and love. If you want to learn more and get your hands on some exclusive bonuses, click the first link in the description box below or visit www.theselflovetoolkit.com. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this episode helpful, please like it. And subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on my weekly podcast episodes. I'm sending you all my love, and I'll talk to you in the next one.